Section 2. Pell, White Dock. Lucas Company Offices. 1100 hours. John Lucas gathered the pertinent papers together, glared up at the men who crowded his dock-front office, glared for a long moment to make the point. He laid the papers down on the front of the desk, and Bran Hale gathered them up and passed them to the rest of the men. "We appreciate it," Hale said. "Lucas Company has no need of employees. You understand that? Make yourselves useful. This is a personal favor, a debt, if you like. I appreciate loyalty." "There'll be no trouble," Hale said. "Just stay low. Temper cost you your security clearance. You won't exercise that temper working for me. I warned you. I warned you when we worked together on Downbelow." "I remember," Hale said. "But we were run off, Mr. Lucas, for personal reasons. Constantine was looking for an excuse. He's changing your policies, tearing up things, disarranging everything you've done. And we tried, sir." "Can't help that," John said. "I'm not down there. I'm not running things. And now you're not. I'd rather Jacoby could have gotten you off with something lighter. But there you are. You're in private employ now." He leaned back at the desk. "I could need you," he said soberly. "Figure on that, too. So it could have turned out worse for you. Station life now. No more mud. No more headaches from bad air. You work for the company at whatever comes up, and you use your heads. You'll do all right." "Yes, sir," Hale said. "And Lee?" John looked at Lee Quayle. A level, sober stare. "You may be standing guard on Lucas property from time to time. You just may have a gun on your person. And you don't fire it. You know how close you came to adjustment on that account?" "Bastard hit the barrel," Quayle muttered. "Damon Constantine runs legal affairs. Emilio's brother, man. Angelo's got it all in his pocket. If he'd had a better case, he'd have sent you through the mill. Think about the odds the next time you cross Constantine's on your own." The door opened. Vittorio slipped in, ignoring his instant frown of discouragement. Vittorio came up beside his chair, leaned close to his ear. "Man came in," Vittorio whispered. "Off a ship named Swan's Eye." "I don't know any Swan's Eye," he hissed back. "He can wait." "No." Vittorio persisted, leaned close a second time. "Listen to me. I'm not sure he's authorized." "How not authorized?" "Papers. I'm not sure he's supposed to be on the station at all. He's out there. I don't know what to do with him." John drew a quick breath, suddenly cold. An office full of witnesses. A dock full of them. "Send him in," he said, and to Hale and the others, "Go on outside. Fill out the papers and hand them to personnel. Take whatever they give you for today. Go on." There were dark looks from them, suspicion of offense. "Come on," Hale said, shepherding the others out. Vittorio hastened out after them, vanished, leaving the door open. A moment later, a man, merchanter-clad, slipped through and closed it. Like that. Closed it. No fear, no furtiveness in that move, as if he commanded. An ordinary face, a 30-ish man of no distinction at all. His manner was cold and quiet. "Mr. John Lucas," the newcomer said. "I'm John Lucas." Eyes lifted meaningfully to the overhead, about the walls. "No monitoring," John said, short of breath. "You walk in here in public and you're afraid of monitoring?" "I need a cover." "What's your name? Who are you?" The man walked forward and wrenched a gold ring from his finger, took a station ID card from his pocket, laid both on the desk in front of him. Dayen's. You made a proposal, the man said. John sat frozen. Get me cover, Mr. Lucas. Who are you? I came on Swan's Eye. Time's limited. They'll take on supplies and head out. Name, man. I don't deal with non-entities. Give me a name. A man of your own to walk onto Swan's Eye. A hostage. One who can deal in your name, if need be. You have a son? Vittorio. Send him. He'll be missed. The newcomer stared at him, coldly adamant. John pocketed card and ring, reached a numb hand for the intercom. Vittorio. The door opened. Vittorio slipped in, eyes quick with apprehension. Let the door close again. The ship that brought me, the man said, will take you, Vittorio Lucas, to a ship called Hammer, out on the peripheries. And you needn't have apprehensions of the crew of either. They're trusted, all of them. Even the captain of Swan's Eye has a powerful interest in your safety, wanting her own family back. You'll be safe enough. Do as he says, John said. Vittorio's face was the color of paste. Go? Like that? You're safe, John said. You're precious well safe. Safer than you'd be here. Not when it comes to what it's coming to. Your papers, your card, your key. Give them to him. Go on Swan's Eye with one of the deliveries. Just don't look guilty and don't get off. It's easy enough. Vittorio simply stared at him. You're safe, I assure you, the stranger said. You go out there, sit, wait, act as liaison with our operations. I'm told you understand me. Vittorio reached to his pocket, handed over all his papers. There was a numb terror on his face. Comp number? The other prompted. Vittorio wrote it down for him on the desk pad. You're all right, John said. I'm telling you, you're better off there than here. That's what you tell Dayen. Dayen Jacoby is quite well, the stranger said. Don't foul it up, John said. Get your wits together. You foul it up out there, and we'll all be in for adjustment. You read me clear? Yes, sir, Vittorio said faintly. John gave him a nod toward the door. Dismissal. Vittorio tentatively held out a hand toward him. He took it perfunctorily. Could not, even now, like this son of his. Came closest in this moment, perhaps, that Vittorio proved of some real service to him. I appreciate it, he muttered, feeling some courtesy would salve wounds. Vittorio nodded. This doc, this stranger said, sorting through Vittorio's papers. Berth 2, and hurry about it. Vittorio left. The stranger slipped the papers and the comp number into his own pocket. Use of the number periodically should satisfy comp, the man said. Who are you? Chissad will do, the man replied. Vittorio Lucas, I suppose, when it comes to comp. What's his residence? Lives with me, John said, wishing otherwise. Anyone else? Any woman, close friends who will not be sympathetic? The two of us. Jacoby indicated as much. Residence with you. Very convenient. Would excite comment if I walked there in this clothing. John sat down on the edge of his desk, mopped his face with his hand. No need to be distressed, Mr. Lucas. The Union fleet. They're moving in? I'm to arrange certain things. I'm a consultant, Mr. Lucas. That would be an apt term. expendable. A man, a ship or two, small risk against the gain. But I do want to live, you understand, and I propose not to be expended, without satisfaction for it, just so you don't suffer a change of heart, Mr. Lucas. They've sent you in here with no backing. Backing in plenty when it comes. We'll talk tonight, in residence. I'm quite in your hands. I understand there's no strong bond between yourself and your son. Heat flushed his face. No business of yours, Mr. Jasad. No. Jasad looked him slowly up and down. It's coming. You can be sure of that. You've bid to be on the winning side, to do certain services, in return for position. I'll be evaluating you. Very businesslike. You take my meaning. But you'll do well to take my orders, to do nothing without my advice. I have a certain expertise in this situation. I'm advised that you don't permit domestic monitoring. That Pell is very adamant on this point, that there's no apparatus. There isn't, John said, swallowing heavily. It's very much against the law. Convenient. I'd hate to walk in under camera. The clothes, Mr. Lucas. Acceptable in your corridors? John turned, searched his desk, found the appropriate form, his heart pounding all the while. If the man should be stopped, if there were suspicion, his signature on the document. But it was already too late. If Swan's eye were boarded and searched, if someone noticed that Vittorio failed to leave it before it undocked. Here, he said, tearing off the pass. This isn't to show anyone unless you're stopped by security. He pushed the comm button and leaned over the mic. Bran Hale still out there? Get him in here. Alone. Mr. Lucas, Jasad said, we don't need other parties to this. You asked advice about the corridors. Take it. If you're stopped, your story is that you're a merchanter whose papers were stolen. You're on your way to talk to administration about it, and Hale's your escort. Give me Vittorio's papers. I can carry them. You daren't be caught with them, with that story. I'll straighten it all out when I get to the apartment this evening. Jasad handed them over in return for the pass. And what do they do with merchanters whose papers get stolen? They call in their whole ship's family, and it's a very great deal of commotion. You could end up in detention and adjustment if things go that far, Mr. Jasad. But stolen papers are known here, and it's a better cover than your plan. If it happens, go along with everything and trust my judgment. I have ships. I can arrange something. Claim you're off Sheba. I know the family. The door opened. Bran Hale stood there, and Jasad shut his mouth on whatever he would have said. Trust me, John repeated, relishing his discomfiture. Bran, you're useful already. Walk this man to my apartment. He fished in his pocket after the manual guest key. See him there and inside and sit with my guest until I come, will you? Could be a long while. Make yourself free to the place, and if you get stopped, he has a different story. You just follow his cue, all right? Hale's eyes took in Jasad, flicked back to him. Intelligent man, Hale. He nodded, without asking questions. Mr. Jasad, John murmured, you can trust this man to see you there. Jasad smiled tautly, offered his hand. John took it, a dry grip of a man of no normal nerves. Hale showed him out, and John stood by his desk, watching both of them depart. The staff in the outer office were all like Hale, Lucas people, administrative level, and trustworthy. Men and women he had chosen, and not one of them was likely to be doubling on the Constantine payroll. He had always seen to that. He was still anxious. He turned from the view of the door to the sideboard, poured himself a drink. For however unruffled Jasad was, his own hands were shaking from the encounter and the possibilities in it. A Unionist agent. It was farce, a too elaborate result of his intrigue with Jacoby. He had sent out a tentative feeler, and someone had raised the stakes in the game to a ridiculous level. Union ships were coming, were very close, that they would take the enormous chance of sending in someone like Jasad. He resumed his seat at his desk, holding the drink, sipped at it, trying to pull his thoughts into coherency. The proposed deception of Comp could not go on. He reckoned the life of the Jasad Vittorio charade in days. If something went wrong, he would be the one quickest caught, not Jasad, who was not in Comp. Jasad was expendable in Union plans, perhaps, but he was more so. He drank, trying to think. Seized up paper with sudden inspiration. More forms. Started the call-up procedure for a short hauler. There were crews in Lucas' employ who would not talk, like Sheba. Men who would take a ship out and carry a ghost aboard, falsify manifests, falsify crew or passenger listings. The tracing of the black market routes had turned up all manner of interesting data that some captains did not want known. So this afternoon another ship would go out to the mines, and Vittorio's comp number could be changed into the station log. A little ripple, a ship moving. No one paid attention to short haulers. Out to the mines and back again. A ship incapable of threatening security because it lacked speed and star capacity in weapons. He might still have some questions to answer from Angelo, but he knew all the right answers to give. He transmitted the order to Comp, watched in satisfaction as Comp swallowed the order, and sent out notification to Lucas Company that any ship moving had to carry some station items to the mines free-freighted. Ordinarily, he would have kicked hard at the size of the assessment for free transport. It was outrageous. He keyed back at it. Accepted 1/4 station lading. Will depart 1700 MD. Comp took it. He leaned back with a great sigh of relief, his heart settling down to a more reasonable rhythm. Personnel was an easy matter. He knew his better men. He set to work again, pulling names from Comp, choosing the crew, a merchant or family long in Lucas's pay. Send the Cullens in the moment they hit the office, he told his secretary over the comm. There's a commission waiting for them. Make it out and hurry about it. Scramble together anything we've meant to freight out and get it going. Then get an extra dock crew to make a pickup from station lading for free freighting. No quarrels. Take whatever they're given and get back here. You make sure those papers are flawless and that there's no snag. Absolutely no snag. In comp entries. You understand me? Yes, sir. The answer came back. And a moment later, contact made with the Cullens. They're on their way, and thank you for the commission, sir. Annie was convenient. A ship comfortable enough for a prolonged tour of Lucas mine interests, small enough for obscurity. He had taken such tours in his youth, learning the business. So Vittorio might. He sipped at his drink and thumbed the papers on his desk, fretting.